Good morning, boys and girls. We've got ourselves a Goodman Furnace here, and we got an issue with the pressure switch. I'm going to go ahead and try to quickly show you 4 different ways to test a pressure switch on a furnace. A lot of different furnaces. This one's just a basic Goodman forced air furnace. Real quick, you turn on your thermostat or you turn your switch on. Well, your switch should be on, your power, and then you turn your thermostat to call for heat. The inducer fan kicks on. When the inducer fan kicks on, it draws on this through this hose and turns this pressure switch on. Okay, first inducer motor, second the pressure switch kicks on, third your glow plug or your igniter starts glowing. So different furnaces are different. You have standing flame on some furnaces. You have a little tick, tick, tick. You have like an electronic igniter. Once that's glowing or that's ticking, or if that flame's already on, then the gas meter kicks on, sends gas through the line, goes into these little orifices, whatever they're called, and then hits that flame and starts up. Once it starts up, the box, the heat, the firebox, whatever the heck it's called, starts to get warm inside, and you can't see it back here, but on the firewall is a limit switch, a high limit switch. Once that gets to be a certain temperature, then your blower motor kicks on, and then it starts blowing heat out of your vents. So that's the basic process of what's going on in your furnace. This furnace, nothing was happening. The igniter wasn't coming on. I unhooked it right here, unplugged the igniter. I put a multimeter in there, kicked it on to ohms right there, the little upside down horseshoe. And right now it says OL. Well, I believe that's open limit. But if you touch these together or touch them onto a onto a circuit, it should zero out. Or touch it into whatever you're testing, it should zero out. If it stays OL, it means it's open. So anyways, I did that. That tested out fine. So let me click that back in, clip that back in. So the second thing, so that was the simplest, is to check that. The next thing I tested, actually, here's the first thing. So I got 4 ways to test it. Actually, it's not here. It is actually on this one. On either the top or the bottom panel of your furnace, you're going to find a key that tells you your circuit board will have a little light that flashes on it, and you look at it through the little peeky hole, through the little window in your furnace. You got to get your eye up close to it, look to the left, to the right, up, down, until you can find a little light that flashes. This one is way back here. You probably can't see it. Right there at the tip of my finger. It's going to be somewhere on your circuit board, and typically it's after your furnace has tried to do something and it failed. You want to see what sequence of flashing. Is it just flashing once, twice, 4 times? Some furnaces will actually do 2 successive flashes. So it'll flash twice, it'll stop, and then it'll flash 3 times. That's a 2-3. And then you'll go and look at your key and see what a 2-3 is. This older furnace has 1 blink, 2, 3, 4, 5 blinks. That's all it's got for diagnostic. This one flashed 3 times. So 3 blinks is pressure switch, failure to close, venter, pressure switch, or vent blockage, which means the chimney could be blocked. So this inducer motor kicks on and starts pushing out the chimney. It wants to know that it's got a nice, clear, fresh path to get these gases out of here, especially when the furnace is actually lit. So once that does that, it draws in on this hose and turns this pressure switch on. And then, like I said, then the igniter will actually light. This one was not igniting. So the first thing I did, and this will be your second thing to check, is pull the hose off of the inducer motor, clean it off or wash it, stick it in your mouth, and turn the power on, or have the furnace call for heat again. And as soon as the inducer fan starts, suck in on this, draw in on it, and click. This thing will click. And so here, listen to the noise. Hear that little clicking? I don't know if you can hear that. And what you're doing is you're triggering it. You're making the connection between these two wires that are on the side of the pressure switch. So that's the second way. Suck in on it, and the furnace still wouldn't. And now the thing with this one is you got to hold it in. You got to keep that switch activated, which is a little bit hard to do. You got to be pretty good at it. The second thing, that's the second thing. The third thing is to take and connect the 2 points where the wires were connected, put a multimeter on those, and then suck in on it. And then this should zero out. Let me see here. So when I touch these two together, if you suck in on it, it should zero out again. So that's that's the third way to do it. And then the fourth way to do it is these two wires that you took off of the pressure switch. Put a lead in there, or a couple little pieces of a couple screws in there so that you can connect those two together. Turn the furnace on, wait till the inducer motor starts to spin, and then touch it, because it's like a sequence. That needs to turn on, then it will blow up the chimney. Hopefully it doesn't blow up the chimney. Air will go up the chimney, and it will kick the switch on. And so when that happens, the inducer motor turns on, you're connecting these together, simulating that, and then watch for the igniter to see if it starts to glow, and then see if the gas valve kicks on, and then see if the blower motor, make sure everything is all back to working again. So I did all 4 of those tests. The easiest and the simplest was to just check the flashing circuit board. But here's the thing, the key is not always right. It's not always something simple. It could be a couple different things together. But these are sort of like dummy lights on your car. When your check engine light comes on, you're like, okay, I know something's wrong with it. And you can look here and get an idea what it is. So here's my brand new pressure switch. I'm going to go ahead and kick this on, and then I'll fire it up for you. But the basic call that I got from the tenant that they didn't have heat, when I came over here, nothing was happening. So one possibility for a bad pressure switch, but it also goes with other things, is that nothing is happening to the furnace. It's not even starting at all. So my guess is because the switch in here is bad, it's not even allowing the inducer motor to start up. So let me get this hooked up. All right, got the pressure switch hooked up. I actually don't like the way this one sets. These wires are really close to the inducer motor, but I can't really get any more. I'd have to put some longer connectors. I guess I can loosen whatever this blob is down here. Maybe I'll do that in a second. But right now they are going around the outside, so it should be fine. I got my hose connected back up on both of them, and my igniter, if I unplugged it, is plugged back in. The other thing that people kick themselves because they don't think of is to put the bottom door back on, because that activates that switch. So let me stick that in there. I will just hold it shut with my knee. Power is on. Hopefully it is drawing, and it already kicked in that switch. So let's go ahead and see if this igniter, which is back in there, starts to glow. Just a second there. Okay, there we go. You see it back there? Starting to glow. Now the gas valve should kick on in a second here. And it may not the first time. Oh, there you go. And we have heat. So it may not always, sometimes when you're working on a furnace, it may not kick in just yet. Sometimes you're working on the line and there's not gas in, or it's tried to start a few times, and so it has a little bit of air in the line. But just give it like, I believe a furnace cycles like 3 times before it actually kicks out a code, starts flashing on the board. So be patient, especially if your igniter is glowing now, then you more than likely fix the problem. So we got a working furnace here. We're good, and the tenant will be happy.